Chapter 64. Obsidian flew out of the cavern like a wasp from its earthly nest, only 1,000 times larger. He had told the queen that he was hungry and needed to eat. She was tired and laid down, almost asleep, before he reached the sea. He made a beeline for the mainland. He had only one destination in mind. Wingmaker and his entourage had returned, and all the heartwarming stories of a homecoming applied for both Hunter and Soren. Hunter in the sense of his family, and Soren in the sense of belonging to a tribe that seemed to admire his eccentricities as a flourish of werewolf kind. It was late, the lingering echoes of the day's celebrations fading into the quiet of the night. Wingmaker and one who remained by the fire pit, the last remnants of the gathering.
Soren certainly has a knack for humor, doesn't he?
One who remarked, his smile wide with amusement.
His tale of survival with mouse stew had us all in stitches. It's been a while since I've laughed that heartily.
Returning the smile, Wingmaker nodded.
3 years alone can forge strange alliances, even with rodents. But I believe he'll bring a unique perspective to your tribe.
I concur, though I'll pass on his culinary creations.
One who quipped.
As will I.
Turning serious, Wingmaker leaned in.
So, what's on our agenda for tomorrow's council meeting? What do we hope to achieve in our first session?
One who gazed upward, as if seeking answers among the stars.
Our primary aim should be to secure the Queen's agreement on a matter. Establishing that common ground can be the bedrock for trust.
And how do we propose to achieve that?
We offer a gesture of honor toward her unborn offspring.
Such as?
In our culture, newborns are introduced to ancestral places, a tradition that binds them to our land. The Queen lacks such a legacy, so we provide her with one.
And which place are you suggesting?
One whose smile turned mysterious.
Words won't do justice to its beauty. It's an experience one must witness to understand, a connection to nature that runs deep. It's about anchoring the new generation in a sense of belonging.
So, we propose to guide her and her brood to this place once they are born?
We extend our support. There are rituals that could resonate with her, drawing her into our shared heritage.
How would she get to such a place?
You haven't seen this, but Alta saw them quite by accident. Obsidian is strong enough to carry the Queen on his back and still fly, among other things. I think she would agree to this if we explained its value.
Interesting.
Wingmaker mused.
But what if we also focus on a broader agenda? One that fosters trust between sea dragons and werewolves.
One that goes beyond individual agreements?
Precisely. Building trust at a societal level, not just between leaders.
Silence fell as one who pondered the implications. In that quietude, Wingmaker caught the distant sound of wings cutting through the night sky. Looking up, he glimpsed a shadow blotting out the stars, a sign that Obsidian was near, his dedication to protecting the Queen and their future undeniable. Grabbing one whose shoulder urgently, Wingmaker spoke.
You should depart. Obsidian approaches.
Where is he?
Leave now.
The directive carried a gravity that spurred one who to rise hastily and move away. Instead of departing entirely, he sought cover behind the rocky outcroppings lining the beach, just before the forest's embrace. Peering cautiously over the rocks, he observed Obsidian's form, his wings spread wide as he descended swiftly, beating the air with a rhythmic intensity akin to a bird's pre-landing flurry. Obsidian alighted on the beach directly before Wingmaker, who remained poised, observing the dark dragon with composure, as if watching a sunset.
Why have you ventured here?
Wingmaker inquired.
I have questions.
Obsidian retorted with a scowl.
Why did you threaten to return the Queen to her homeland? Can you even fulfill such a promise? She insists you can, but I remain skeptical. Your evasive maneuvers in the air, they are mere tricks, aren't they?
You've posed 3 queries.
Wingmaker noted calmly.
2 of which implied deceit. I'll address the one that doesn't. Regarding my threat to the Queen, it stemmed from her inclination to harm my companions. These very individuals are pivotal to the upcoming council tasked with administering justice in this realm. I believed the most effective way to deter her was to demonstrate my capabilities, which she understandably doubted. I offered to show her if she desired proof, and she accepted. So I presented evidence. She needed a reminder that she does not reign as a deity to whom all must bend their knee or worship. This awareness was essential for her to recognize that the future of her unborn offspring takes precedence. I am confident she has grasped this realization. It is a good thing for you and her.
Let me decide what is a good thing for me and her.
Obsidian's voice resonated in the deep timbre of his immense, scale-covered lungs as he slowly inched closer to Wingmaker.
Do you truly believe that you and your wolf companions will share in our power? What makes you think so? Because you zip through the air swiftly and implant thoughts in others' minds?
I believe
Wingmaker replied evenly.
that a peaceful, enriching life, nurturing your offspring, would lead you to share your power willingly. Yet, this requires time. Your lifetime has instilled the notion that power is insatiable and shared sparingly, only with the faithful. This ethos is your learning, your teaching. I posit that with your queens and your intellect, you will uncover ways to prioritize your children's future over individual power.
Obsidian edged nearer, turning slightly.
Climb onto my back. I wish to show you something.
I am more than capable of flying by myself.
Then follow me.
Obsidian took flight down the beach in a northerly direction.
And try to keep pace. It's a half-hour flight at my speed.
Wingmaker observed Obsidian's departure, then ascended into the air, swiftly bridging the gap to join Obsidian. He looked behind, and to his dismay, Wingmaker was in the same spot, seemingly unperturbed by the breakneck speed Obsidian had set. Obsidian glanced at Wingmaker, who was slightly behind him, and to his left.
How can we take you seriously when you look like a fairy?
You do as you wish. It is not troublesome to me in the least if you look down at me. It is your right, just as it is my right, to admire you.
You're a politician,
Obsidian said.
I see why you want councils, meetings, and agendas. You're good at twisting words to make points that stick in people's minds.
Where are we headed and why?
Wingmaker redirected.
I intend to reveal where our kind dwelled in ages past. That cavern you glimpsed was a summer palace on a secluded isle. You haven't witnessed the grandeur of my ancestors. Witness it, and you'll comprehend the dominion that singular power, as you phrase it, can establish.
In a shared silence, they traversed the nocturnal expanse. The air grew crisper, its chill lacing their flight. After approximately 20 minutes, they arrived at a mountain-rimmed valley blanketed in deep snow, yet radiating an underlying beauty. Forest-lined rivers darted through the valley. Huge pines jutted upward to the stars. And while it was nighttime, the snow-laden lands were cast in a bluish glow, discernible even from their aerial vantage point. Descending into the valley, they alighted upon a stone-hewn ledge where Obsidian landed gracefully. Hovering a few meters above, Wingmaker regarded the ancestral home with awe.
This is undeniably a breathtaking place. Were it not for the chill, I might consider residing here myself.
For the first time, Obsidian nodded his head in the presence of Wingmaker.
I have more to show you. Follow me.
With that, he led the way into a hollowed-out chamber beyond the ledge, unveiling a vast circular chamber adorned with murals encircling its entirety. Torch-laden walls greeted them at the entrance, and Obsidian, after igniting one, offered another to Wingmaker, initiating a dance of flames in the dim expanse. Their torches breathed life into the ancient murals, narrating tales of yore amidst the shadows. Sections of decay spoke of time's relentless march, yet the vibrancy of the artwork endured, echoing the bygone epochs. WingMaker, suspended in mid-air, absorbed the narratives etched on the walls, his wings orchestrating a silent ballet guiding him along the perimeter. Obsidian watched closely, interjecting insights as WingMaker paused to scrutinize each depiction. The murals unfolded tales of valor, of clashes with sea dragons showcasing the air dragon's dominance, of solemn rituals crowning monarchs, and glimpses of uncharted aspirations. Amidst this visual tapestry, a segment seized WingMaker's attention, prompting Obsidian to inquire.
Do you recognize that?
The depicted figure bore a striking resemblance to WingMaker himself. Intrigued, WingMaker approached the mural, gently polishing away grime to reveal the figure's features. It had blue skin, and he thought perhaps wings. He turned to Obsidian, his face framed in wonderment.
We've interacted with your species before?
Obsidian nodded.
Keep looking.
He motioned. WingMaker adjusted his torch, moving to his left a few meters, illuminating the next scene that unfolded before him. As clarity dawned, WingMaker recoiled, absorbing the chilling imagery of a central figure ensnared within a cage, surrounded by dragons spewing fire. A haunting spectacle reminiscent of an execution, an eerie echo of his visage enshrined in ancient artistry. He peered around the mural, searching for elucidation, but found only a single word etched below the scene: Hemitheios.
We've slain you before. Do you recall why?
Obsidian's voice resonated with a weighty query. WingMaker's head shook subtly, his eyes veiled by a myriad of contemplations.
Nor do I,
Obsidian conceded.
but there must have been a motive. Why shouldn't I follow in my ancestors' footsteps? Right here, right now. Give me a compelling reason not to.
WingMaker sensed the urgency, the walls of time closing in. He knew he had to conjure a defense swiftly. The threat of incineration loomed, and it was real. No escape routes existed except one, and that one was in doubt. Raising his hand, WingMaker sought to break the tension.
How can you be sure it doesn't portray one of my ancestors granting you the gift of fire? Maybe we bestowed upon air dragons the ability to breathe flames.
A derisive laugh escaped Obsidian's lips.
You'll need a better explanation. It's evident we brought an end to your kind. We wouldn't act without cause. So, what's your theory?
While WingMaker typically remained composed under pressure, this encounter unsettled his usually unshaken resolve. Yet, his mind could only grasp the explanation he had offered.
I've said why, but you choose not to hear.
Prove it. Show me how you breathe fire, then maybe I'll entertain your narrative.
I can't produce fire, but that doesn't negate the possibility among my ancestors. You said that you don't know why your ancestors would want to kill my kind. Neither of us knows the reason.
Do you know the meaning of the word?
Obsidian asked, pointing to the wall, suddenly pursuing a different angle.
A half-god.
That figure is you, or one like you, and I believe they are being executed because they claim to be a god. Maybe a half-god, but a god. And to my species, there are no gods other than our sovereigns. So I believe one like you visited us, claiming they were a god, just like our queen.
He smiled at the irony.
Now, tell me what you think of my hypothesis.
Your theory might hold merit, but I am not a Hemitheios. I never professed divine heritage. Like all species, we encompass both virtues and vices.
Gesturing to the mural, WingMaker continued.
Perhaps this figure depicted here embodied malice or vanity or the lust for power. I cannot tell.
The tension in the air lingered, charged with unspoken allegations and enigmatic histories intertwined in the ancient mural that adorned the chamber. And then, a sonic blast, as loud and fierce as a sound could possibly be, resonated throughout the chamber, quite possibly the entire kingdom. It was so loud that WingMaker lost control of his body, falling to the floor, Obsidian lowered his head and laid down so as not to lose his footing, not sure if the entire mountain might be ripped apart.
What is happening?
Obsidian shouted over the sound, just as it began to trail off.
Is this you, casting a spell over me?
I have nothing to do with it.
Are you sure?
Moments later, to the alarm of both Obsidian and WingMaker, a bolt of lightning surged into the chamber, its power deafening, and the chamber walls scorched to near oblivion, erasing the ancient murals. As their eyes cleared, a figure materialized in the chamber's center, a being of ethereal substance, unlike anything Obsidian or WingMaker had ever seen. Its eyes, 3 in number, bore into them with an intense gaze.
I am weary of your explanations veiled in ignorance,
The being declared.
Your discourse lacks truth or understanding, a testament to ignorance. Yet, I congratulate you on this revelation of demigods, for it compels me to speak.
Who are you?
Obsidian queried, bewildered by his vision.
This is the domain of dragons.
I have no domain.
The being stated flatly.
Any space, any mind, any imagination, any heart, any vessel. These are my abodes. I encompass all that is and isn't, without exception or exclusion. You speak of power.
The being continued, its voice resonating within the circular chamber.
Power, which perplexes creatures such as yourselves, to such an extent, you forget what power is. Do you seek to rule? Then rule, but know that power of rulership carries the burden of judgment. Every action, every decision, brands you in the eyes of dual minds and hearts, while the deeper, higher, wider currents of common ground flow beyond your grasp.
The being's words hung in the charged air.
I'm rarely among you as a being you can see.
It added.
I appear only when necessary, as now. You, my emissaries, have strayed, consumed by discord, manipulation, and division. These are trivialities. Find the common ground, for therein lies your salvation. Focus not on the differences, but on the unity of what you hold in common. I don't know how many ways it can be said until you understand this singular concept. It is the first principle of all life, because this interconnects you.
The being shimmered in the dim light cast by the fallen torches, a spectral presence amidst the charged atmosphere. WingMaker rose slowly, his gaze fixed on the enigmatic figure.
You spoke of a revelation. What revelation is that?
The being's response resonated through the chamber with a weight of ancient wisdom.
The revelation lies in your intertwined histories. History begets presence. Presence shapes the future, and the future echoes back to history, a cyclical dance to the rhythm of infinity. Yet, true infinity never replicates itself exactly. It evolves across dimensions and frequencies, always shifting its elevation. The essence lies in discerning what is truly infinite and what is not. Power, as you perceive it, is not infinite. It is your dilemma.
The being continued, its voice softer.
Your shared history isn't defined by hatred, power struggles, sacrilege, or envy. It is collaboration. It is always a collaboration. The voice boomed. No one operates in a vacuum, not even an atom, or an amoeba, or any creature you can name. Everything is interconnected. No entity, no matter how small, exists in isolation. So, how does one rule? Not through division. Division is the antithesis of power. The air dragons, masters of division, could fracture tribes with a mere breath.
Turning its gaze to WingMaker.
Your kind and the dragons have woven a tale of collaboration spanning epochs beyond count. Moments of unity and mutual respect have cyclically coexisted with periods of strife and discord. These cycles transcend mortal lifetimes, while your struggles with power, manipulation, distrust, and fear play out in fleeting spans of time. Stop your bickering and trivial insinuations, or I will send new emissaries and return you back to your worlds, where you will find your challenges are once again beneath you, yet comfortable. Do I make myself clear for both of you to understand? Tell me no, as I cannot stay in this body, in this world, for much longer.
Wingmaker nodded, his voice cracking as he spoke.
I understand.
Obsidian nodded, somewhat reluctantly.
We understand, but we are not alone. It is not like we decide and everyone else follows.
It is exactly like that, and that is exactly my point.
The being vanished. In one moment it was there, and the very next blink of an eye it was gone without a single trace. Even the echoes of its final words stayed in the room longer than the image of the being. Obsidian, out of the corner of his eye, watched Wingmaker return to the wall where his image had once been, and now was gone, as if it had never existed, his head shaking in disbelief. Wingmaker turned around and caught the gaze of Obsidian.
That was a hemitheos,
He said, his voice still shaking from the experience. Obsidian sighed.
If that was a half-god, I don't want to meet a full god.